Alright, hello everyone. So I'm going to make another Tool SAI tutorial. I made a tutorial, I don't know, like 3 years ago or something. That was an eye coloring tutorial, and I didn't have the best computer back then, so the sound was horrible. Hopefully this will be a little bit better. I have to apologize for my bad English because that's not my first language. I'm Swedish, and some of you may already know that. But alright, let's go ahead and begin this tutorial. I'm going to go through the basics of Tool SAI, and it won't be really advanced or something. I'm just going to go through some basics and hopefully you'll learn something. And yeah, so let's begin. So when you open up your site, this is what you get. This is what you see, and you don't have a canvas already here, so you have to go to File and New, and here you can set your width and height of your how big your canvas is going to be. Depending on if you want to have like kind of widescreen ish, so it fits like a desktop, then I'd prefer you to set the width to 2000 and height to 11300. Yeah. So yeah, press OK, and this is how your canvas looks. So the white part here, that's your canvas. That's where you're gonna draw, obviously. Here, up here, you can zoom in, and if you zoom in to 100%, that's how big your canvas is. This is exactly how big your canvas is going to be. And you can angle it right here, like if you draw, let's say you draw a heart. Wow, beautiful. And you go to the angle right here, you can rotate it, everything. It gets easier to, if you're going to color or anything. That kind is going to be pretty useful. So remember that, angle, you rotate it, and zoom in and out. So now here's your tools, your brushes and erasers. If you click on the eraser, you obviously erase what you have drawn. And then the pen, it's quite, let me zoom into 100% here. Right now it looks kind of blurry, you see. That's because you have it on this little selection here. You can select it more on this one and it will be more firm, like that. So it depends on what you prefer. I like to draw with very firm and thick lines like this, so they're clear. Oops, sorry for that. Sorry, I'm having a cold, so that's why I'm snoring a lot. No, not snoring. What is called? My nose is runny, so yeah. But try to go through it. Alright, so that's the pen, and pen is just like, yeah, you can draw whatever you want. And here's airbrush, which is pretty much if you're going to draw more fizzier look like this. It looks more airy and cloudy like. Same here, you can choose it to be less cloudy like, let's just call it that. It looks pretty similar to the pen right now, but there is a difference. Airbrush is bigger and thicker and more, I don't know how to describe it, but you don't have to kind of remember what the differences are. Just remember that airbrush is if you want to do like clouds or something that's more fizzy, choose that brush. Then here's the brush, which is more like if you're going to draw, it depends. Okay, yes, let's do this. Let's just remember the airbrush and pen for now. I don't use many of those pens at all. Some more I want you to learn is, like, if you have drawn something, there's a little wavy line there, you can choose the blur tool right here, and that means you can blur like this, which is good for shading and other stuff. And then we have the bucket. If you have drawn something like this, you can take the bucket and you can, yeah, just fill it like this. Very easy. Looks like a little bear. So yeah, that's the basics. There's one more tool right here, the binary, and that is pixely looking, like if you're drawing in Microsoft Paint or something. It's sharp, and yeah, that could be useful for depending on if you're going to draw pixel drawings or if you want this look in your drawing, then you can choose the binary. Then we have the crayon, which is, yeah, looks like a crayon basically. It could be cool to have some background, so whatever you're going to use it for. So those are the ones I want you to remember, but the most important is pen and eraser, of course. So then if we go deeper into the pen settings and brush settings, etc., let's just choose the pen tool right here, and then here we can choose the size of it. Bigger, even bigger, and then we have smaller. So yeah, you can choose the size right here, just dragging on this little leveler here. And then the minimum size, that's very important. If you're going to, like, let's just go deeper right here. If you're drawing like a line, it will look like this, or something like that. If you do the min size a little bit bigger, then it will look like, you see the edges? This one's more rounded. If you go to 100% min size, then it will look just like this. So you see the differences here. When the min size is on 100%, it doesn't have any, like, pressure in it. It's just a basic line. Min size usually should be on like 0 if you're going to have this look to it. So that's it. Now the density right here is, if you're drawing something, again, the density is kind of like transparency. You see the differences. If you have the density up to like 83, it might be a little bit more, but still not quite the same. You see, it's kind of lighter, like water colors or something like it. If you have the density to like 13 or something, then it's even lighter and you can draw on it and it gets a little bit darker, and so on. That's the density, and these three works the same for every tool you're using. On some tools, those are not, like, how do you say, they're not available. For some tools, they don't work, like this one. This is the selection tool, by the way. It could be very useful as well. Let me show you how it works. Alright then. If you are going to draw, like, let's see, a little smiley face right here. And then you want to move this part of the face, the eyes and the mouth. Then you can choose the selection and choose the size you want. And just draw like this. Then click on this moving tool right here. It says move. 4 arrows thingy. And then you can draw it. Move it where you want. So the selection tool is basically you select what you want to move or whatever you want to do with it, and then move it with this one. So don't be afraid if there's like blue and you're like, oh my god, you just ruined my drawing. Don't worry, you haven't ruined it. It will go away and turn into those little moving lines at the sides. That's those, and then we have deselect right here. So if we say you have selected something, but oh no, you don't want to select that much, you can select the deselection here and take away if you don't want to select that. Then will you just select this part. So that's those. Those could be very important when you draw and work with the drawing. That's enough for the tools, I think. Now on to like some filters and layers. We should begin with layers, how those work. So, as you may see, excuse me, I just need to remove my headphones. Alright, so you have layer 1. You always start with layer 1 when you begin and make a new canvas. So if you make a new layer right here, this button, click on it, you have a layer 2. What layer means is basically if you click on layer 1 and you draw, let's just do a little fluffy looking thing here. Nothing fancy, just a little stupid looking dog bear thing like this. So then you click on layer 2. You can draw whatever you want on top of it. Let's say you just do cross like this. That means if you erase the cross, you erase only the cross and nothing else, because that's on layer 2, not on layer 1. If you click on layer 1, you will only delete or erase what's on layer 1. Now what's useful with layers is if you make a new layer and make it on, and you like hold it, click and hold it, drag it down under layer 1. You see this layer is on top now, and now you have the other layer under it. If you click on layer 2 now, what's under layer 1, you can fill it with color, because this layer is under the lines. So that's very, very, very useful. That's what one of the beginners knowings, whatever you call it. You should know how layers works. They're important when you draw. And then we have these little fun looking things here. This basically means you remove a layer if you click on that thing. Then this means you make a new line art layer or line work layer. So it's just you make a new layer, but you get a set of new tools here. Let me just erase this. If you have a line work layer, you have these like tools. So if you click on pen, that means you could draw like a normal pen, but if you click on edit, it means you can drag and do stuff like this with it. So this is line work layer. I don't use it that often, but it could be pretty useful for some people. Whatever you're going to do, whatever feels better for you. Then you have the curve tool, which is you basically make curve. Sorry, let me just make it a little thicker. You make curves, lines like this. I use this sometimes for like letters and so on. And then again, you can click edit and edit this as well. And then you have the line tool, which works exactly the same as the curve tool, except it doesn't curve, it's just straight lines. Many have problems with the line work layers because you cannot fill it with the bucket which you have on the normal layers right here. Well, I have the solution for this. If you edit, so let's say this is the symbol and this is a symbol I want to color. Then you can just make a new layer on top of this, a normal layer, not the line work layer, and you drag it underneath the line work layer, and then you click on the line work layer again and on this merge down layer. Now this is a normal layer. Now you can like bucket fill whatever it is, and so on. Or if you prefer, you could take this wand tool, which works exactly like the selection tool, except you mark and select just like when you fill it. So then you have marked what you want to fill, you can click the pen selection and layer underneath and draw it, paint it, fill it, whatever, with color. So there those basics are. Now we have, let's just make, I just filled this layer totally green now. Let's say you think, oh my god, I don't want this to be green, I want to erase it, but you don't want to sit and erase everything. Then you can click on this clear layer, and then everything on this layer is going to be zap, boom, gone. That's what those three are. And then you have this little map, which is a new layer set. You click on it, then you can drag layers to this, which means you can close and open if you like to have a set of when you're drawing eyes or legs or whatever. It could be useful if you want to organize your layers. I rarely use those though, so that's not very important. But yeah, that's what those are. Alright. Let's see what we have. Yeah, we have those three options here. So, if I draw a little creature, a bunny, or a rabbit, like this, and then you feel like, I want to color those lines in another color, not green, or whatever color you have. Then you could click on the preserve opacity, check that, then you can select whatever color you want, and then just what you have drawn on this layer is going to be colored in whatever color you have, like this. That's what the preserve opacity is for. Then you can uncheck it, and you can draw on this layer again. And then we also have kind of, how am I going to explain this? Let's see. Okay, we'll make a little doot. Stupid looking thing. Perfect. Yeah. Whatever. If you have this, you have drawn this, and now you want to draw something on a new layer on top of it, you see here. That's not outside of the layer. You want to draw on this layer, but not on the same layer. You want to draw on the same place as the layer is, like this. You click on the clipping group right here. Then you see this pink line here. It means it's linked to this layer only. It means you're gonna draw on this layer a new layer, but only on what is on the layer underneath. And you can make a new layer and click clipping group on that one as well. And it will still be linked to this layer. Those are chained together. That means you can draw like this as well, still from this layer. But then if you click on this layer, where you drew this, you still will only erase this and this if you click on this layer. So that's pretty good to use as well. That's what those mean. Selection source is not something we need to go through right now. It's not important, I rarely use it. Well, we have this as well. Okay, so imagine you're drawing, again, something stupid. A little guy here. And underneath this layer you have a green layer or something like that. Then you feel like, I want to, or wait, let's just do this on the green layer. Do a little bit like this. you can make this layer, the black line art layer, click on it here, and if you see the opacity meter right here, it's always set to 100%. That means it's not going to be transparent. So if you click this, you see it will fade away slowly, depending on how much opacity you want to have and not want to have. So that's the opacity. Alright. Then we have modes here, different modes. You could play around with these. I'm just going to open a drawing that I'm half done with and show you a little bit more how it works. It will be easier. Let me just search here. I might just fast forward this, so I'll see you back when I'm done. Alright, here's a drawing I found and I'm not yet done with. So I have many layers here, you see. If I make a new layer, for example, on top of every layer, and I choose mode to luminosity, then it's going to look shinier, whatever you draw. If I use the airbrush tool, for example, you see it looks kind of light and bright. If you choose the mode to normal, it looks like this. And then multiply, it gets darker, like if you want to shade or something. And then if you choose screen, it's also kind of light, dull. I prefer the luminosity if you want this shiny look, so don't use screen. Overlay, you color overlay, whatever it is. Pretty cool if you're going to want to color something or make effects or whatever. Shade, yeah, that's like, if you want to shade, this is a good mode if you want to, yeah, use to shade your drawings with. And then Lumion shade is kind of shade and luminosity in the same layer. I haven't used this. If you use the opacity, it might get easier to see what's going on. Then binary color, it just gets pixely, sharp-edged, as if you use this binary tool, and it gets black only. If you have the mode, this mode, of course. Yes, there's the modes, what they are. You can play around and see what works best for you when you're doing some drawings and stuff. So yeah, that's those. Now we're going to see, take this drawing as an example. If you make a new layer and you make, like, you color it blue, and then you set it to overlay, color overlay, so now everything gets bluer, and you can change the opacity so it looks less or more blue. Let's have it like this. I see, yeah, this looks great. Now I want to change. I don't want it to be blue, but I don't want it to change colors like this because I don't quite see well exactly what fits most. It's easier if you do it this way. You have this layer and you click on filter over here, then hue and saturation. Now this hue leveler here shows you, it changes the colors of this layer you are on. So here you can see easier what fits the best. That's what hue is, it changes the color. Now remember, if you have like a darker color, like more of a darker purple, and you have this hue, it will look, you won't see that much of a difference in the same way. And if you have a black color, now it's a black layer, believe it or not, it's black. If you put it on normal mode, it's black. I just have it on shade, no, sorry, I have it on overlay, so it doesn't look quite black. But anyway, if you have black and you click on hue, it won't change because it's a black layer. Black layers don't have hues, it's not a color in the same way. Then we have the saturation here, which basically doesn't work a lot well when you have a black layer or white layer for that matter. But here the luminescence, it changes the whiteness or blackness in it. And then we have brightness and contrast. If you make a layer that's white, and you want to change the contrast, yeah, you could play around with it as you want. Nothing is wrong. Remember, if you have this little preview thing here checked, then you will see the difference right on the drawing. And if you don't want this, click cancel and you can go back to what you have from the start. And if you don't have this preview box checked, it won't show your preview at all when you drag this. It will show up when you click OK. That's not preferred, because you'll have to click on this. Now, what's this? It's undo. It means if you have done something, like you have drawn, oops, I don't want that, then you click undo and it will. The last thing you did will delete or erase. Same, you can do this as many times as you want. I prefer to hold in CTRL and Z, which is a shortcut on your keyboard, which works the same way as clicking this undo. CTRL and Z. It's easier than to click on the undo button, but you do what fits best for you, of course. Okay, so these are the basics. Now we have a little bit here. If you want to change the size of your canvas, then you can click on canvas right here and change size. Then you can change size as you want. You can select, like, you want it to be broader, put in 200 more pixels, and not as high, just 1,000. Then it will be wider. And of course, if you had drawn on it, like a little smiley face, for example, and you change the size, then the drawing will be affected like this. It will just change the size of it and your drawing will change. That's how you change it. You could also change it in another way, like if you had drawn a few stick figures like this. You think, wow, it's a bit too big canvas, I just want these two to be in the center. Then you click on this selection tool and you can select how big you want your canvas to be. Like this, you want this to be your new canvas. You click on edit, no, canvas, and crop by selection. Then the canvas will be this big. Alright, now we've gone through a lot of things. I hope you understand so far what I'm doing and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to show you a bit with the transformation tools, how they work. So let's see, I'm going to draw a little, again, a stick figure. And then I want to change the size of it maybe. Click on this again, the selection square, select what you want to scale or whatever you want to do, change the size, rotate right here, click that little circle, and you can rotate it if you want, however you want it, you can move it, and then click cancel or OK. If you like it, click OK, it will be like that. Then free the form, that's, you can drag these things and change the way it looks like this. You deform it, and then scale is just like this. You change the scale and the size of it. Then we have transform, which is basically you rotate and scale at the same time. It's just the same thing, basically. I use those three usually. So yeah, that's that. And then we have this lasso tool, which is also a selection tool, which you can do like this. Select whatever you want to select in the same way. Just select it with like this instead. Whatever you want to select, like that. Yeah, and I showed you what the 1 tool was for. You could select things like that as well. Yeah. Then we have those 4. Those could be useful if you want to flip it. Then it would flip like this. If you want it to be the other way, or upside down, or yeah, you could just flip your drawing. Or remember, it's what you have on your layer. The layer you are on, that's what will be affected, if you say so. Only the layer you are on. Example, if you have drawn, let's just draw, oops, a very cheap background like this. And on that layer, then you go on the top layer and you click scale, for example. Only that layer will change then, nothing else. So that's good to be remembered. I think that's all. Well, you have this zoom tool, you can zoom in and out. Works exactly like this up here. These are just more particular where you want to zoom in or zoom out. Those are all the important basic stuff. We have one more thing that could be very useful, which I use often, and that is this stabilizer right here. If you click it on, for example, 0, you'll see the lines doesn't get they get very, like if you would draw with a mouse, they look messy. Then if you click stabilizer on, for example, oops, who wants stuff? Sorry for that. If you click it on S7, then it gets very slow. It doesn't really follow the mouse as fast. So this makes it very smooth instead. If you have the stabilizer on S2, it will get very smooth, not as smooth as this. You see, it doesn't quite follow. This is a part of stabilizer, and it could be useful if you want to. Sometimes if you color, you might want it to be on lower stabilizer, so it gets faster, and when you draw lines, you want it to be higher. Maybe. That depends on what your preferences are. Sorry. Oh yeah, one more thing, like when you draw on paper, you could maybe draw, again, a stick figure. And then it's like you want to move your hand. Then, yeah, sure, you could rotate it, the layer, so it gets easier to color, or whatever you want to do with it. Sometimes you want to flip it. You can click on this, 2 arrows right here. Flip horizontally. It doesn't flip the canvas. If you save your drawing won't look in this way, because now it's inverted. If you see this, it's red and says INV. It's inverted. It doesn't. It always looks like it looks in this preview up here. You just invert this here. Flip it, so it gets easier for you to draw if you need it to be inverted for you to color. This is just a help thing. This doesn't affect your drawing at all. It always looks like it does up here. Yeah, that's all the basics. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and if you want more tutorials of some sort, I would be more than glad to do a few. But I want you to leave your suggestions in the description below, if so. And feedback is always appreciated. I'm sorry for my bad talking and for my runny nose. I have a cold, as I said earlier, and yeah, I hope you could get through this, and I hope you understood a little bit better how we use Tool SAI. So yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!